Metal Talláн.
Ok, mis queridos amigos de Metal Talllán, estamos el día de hoy con una gran banda bastante esperada llamada Kill Divison desde Florida, Estados Unidos. Okay, my friends, we are with a great band that we are expecting to talk with him, called Kill Division from Florida, United States. Hi, my friend.
Hi, how you doing, man?
Excellent. We are in Piura, north of Peru, South America.
Oh, okay, wow, that's
And you
great, man.
Florida, United States, okay? It's okay?
Yes, South Florida, yes, sir.
Okay. We start. I am thinking about the origin of the name Kill Division. What is the meaning?
Well, the the name is basically about division and trying to kill it, because everybody now, at least in the United States, I don't know about in other parts of the world because I really haven't been there and overseas in a long while. But at least in the United States, everybody is divided. They're divided in politics, they're divided in almost anything that's out there, but mainly politics. You're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're this way, you're that way. We're all divided. Nobody can get together on one thing. And we would love to see division killed. And that's how it came up because we were trying to think of names, and you know how many bands are out there, have been out there, and it's hard to come up with a band name. There's some band names out there I have no idea what the hell they mean, and that's fine. That's their choice. But we wanted something. It is a grindcore band. We didn't want a death metal band name to it because it's grindcore. It's more grindcore political topics, things that are going on around, mostly because they're from our opinions, they're from our country, but we have songs that branch out to other countries as well and some of their issues. But I mean, if you see, I'm guessing the news reports from all over reporting on us, I mean, when we vote for a president, it's usually 51% to 49%. That's not good. That means that there's a lot of disagreements. That means we're divided and thinking what's best for us. And we would love to see there not be a division, but it's going to be pretty damn hard to kill division. And that's what the band's meaning is all about.
Some politician maybe told divide and win.
What? I'm sorry, man.
Maybe some politician told the expression divide and win.
Yeah, well, it's a possibility. I mean, it's not helping anybody. As you can see with all the bad news reports that we get out of here, it's not helping any of us grow as a country, grow as people. It's pretty frustrating. Um, but there's really, I could sing a song about it or put it, but other than that, that's really all I can do. It's not like I can go out there. It's hard to change things. People are set in their own ways, and it's very discouraging for the rest of my future in this life and the people that are young these days. It's discouraging for how their lives will go the way things are headed. So
Okay. Um, tell us about the evolution of Kill Division from the beginning.
okay, well, um if you want me to go far back, the reason why we did this is my bandmate Gus Rios during 2020 in the pandemic when we were uh well, he was stuck in his household. And he is a musician by his jobs is being a musician. He goes out on the road all the time, whether it be for um I think at the time, Gruesome, Left to Die. He also does local music around here. That's how he makes his bread and butter. That's how he makes his money. And then during 2020, there was nothing going on. So he created a show with our good friend Seth, and they called it the Gus and Seth Metal Show, and they would sit around and they would play music from bands, the real popular bands, and discuss the music, whether it be a certain type of uh subgenre in death metal or a certain band, that they would focus on for the whole show. And one day they were doing Napalm Death, and I've known Gus. I was in my first band with him when I was 15 years old in 1992,
Wow.
and in between that, we've both been in Malevolent Creation. I was in the band Hate Plow. Um, so we've had, I've known him for many years, and and I'm a huge fan of Napalm Death. So when he did the Napalm Death show, when they played some songs, they didn't have any vocals to it. So I wrote to him when he was doing the show. It's a live show. I wrote to him. I was like, that sucks. You should have called me, and I would have came and sang these songs. I know most of the ones. I know all the ones that you played today. And he told me, he was like, I thought you were retired because I had not been in a band since um depending on who you ask, I either quit or I was fired from Malevolent Creation. So he was like, I thought you were retired. And I was like, yeah, I would have came out of retirement for that. So he gets me in for their next show, which is sorry, I'm in my car, so it's beeping around. So I get he calls me and he tells me, "Hey, we're doing a thing um for Massacre, and we got the current drummer Jeremy Kling who drums in Massacre." So I was like, that's great. I love From Beyond. I know those songs. So we start getting together and practicing, and next thing I know, we do the show. It goes over great. And while we were practicing, we would discuss music, how it how we thought about what music was like today and what we liked and disliked about it. And we mentioned grindcore, and nowadays there's so many different types of grindcore and different styles, and w- w- we were saying how much we miss the Terrorizer style, the Jesse Pintado riff driven grindcore. And we were like, man, nobody does that anymore. It's not, it's not around, the grindcore that's out nowadays. It's fast, the people are talented, but it wasn't the style that we liked. And Napalm Death has changed. They're not what they used to be in 1990. I'm not saying I like the older version better, but I'm not saying that one version's better than the other. It's up to it's everybody has an opinion. But I miss that World Downfall. That's my grindcore Bible as well as Gus's. So we were talking about it, and we were just like, why don't we just try something out? And he wrote a song, and I was like, damn, this is really good. He was like, and I was like, wait, are you gonna put drums on it? And he was like, no, I got the perfect drummer for this. He talked to Dirk Verburen from well, the band. His bread and butter is Megadeth, but he's been in 60 million other bands. And and I was like, really, this guy, the drummer for Megadeth. I was like, you notice his grindcore. He's like, just wait till you hear it. And I mean, what he can do behind the kit is just incredible. And he got behind that song, and and actually Gus wrote the lyrics to it. It's called Cultists, and we recorded it, and we're like, man, this sounds really good. We should go on and continue. So Gus he is the songwriter. He wrote the songs. He wrote half the lyrics for it. I wrote the other half, and that's how it started.
About your expression of the kind of grindcore you make, I saw text in your social media. Please let me show.
Okay. Sorry, you broke up there again. And also, let me tell you one thing. I had to come out here because it's everybody in the house. One person, my wife is doing her schoolwork, so she needed quiet, and my daughter is sleeping. So, and I got this brand new car, and it's got so many things I don't know how to work yet. So it just shut itself off because it didn't think I was in the car anymore. So I was like, damn, it's getting hot. So, um, but repeat the question for me about the grindcore. What about it, man?
Okay, let me show you my screen. Wait.
Okay. Let me see if I can see you better. That's better. Okay. All right.
I read this expression. Kill Division are a grindcore act that embody and
What's the matter with you now? Can't you see I'm dead inside? Hear the demons when they shout. Hear the seeds in my mind. Freak. Freak. And you think you're fucking strange. They don't know what's inside. Ticking bomb of his case. Either way someone dies. Mental illness, left unchecked. Standing by, left for dead. Stealing anger, wrecking pain. Mental demons, I'm inside. Freak out, murder space. Sirens draw my bloody screen. Freak out, now my legs. Letting all my demons fade. Mental illness, no God. Sudden thoughts, travel down. Mouth explode, screams of pain. Punish them, no one is safe. Freak out, murder space. Sirens draw my bloody screen. Freak out, now my legs. Letting all my demons free. Kill Division are a grindcore act that embody and honor the essence of grind's humble beginnings from luminaries in the scene such as this is the member list, Gas Rios, Dirk
Beuron in the drums, Gus Rios in the
Mhm.
guitar, Kyle Simons in vocals, and Jeremy
Yes.
King in the bass. Is the bassman. Uh, um, about this, you play old school grindcore.
Yes. Yes. That's what we were, you know, that's what we came up with, or what we were brought up with, and, you know, uh, my favorite grindcore records are, of course, Terrorizer, World Downfall.
Me
Then
too.
you
Me too.
have Nape. Yeah, I mean, that one is top. It's like, if you got a pyramid, it's at the top of the pyramid. But pretty damn close to it, you have Napalm Death. Now, Napalm Death have some great, I could sit here and say sometimes my favorite is From Enslavement to Obliteration. Um, Also, Harmony Corruption, and as well as Utopia Banished. Like, sometimes, I flip flop on which one I like the most. It just depends. Like, for at least vocal influence, it's definitely Harmony Corruption, because I love that record. And when it came out, I've never heard anything like it. Barney was just, he was just so angry and pissed off on that record, as well as Utopia Banished. And but the music, it started getting a little death metal it was a blend of grindcore and death metal, and that's kind of killed Division. I mean, I think we're a little bit faster than the Harmony Corruption style of songs, but it still has its death metal elements. Because, again, I was in Malevolent Creation for, how many years was it? Probably about like 4 or 5 years. And Gus was in Malevolent Creation for many more. And plus, that's what we were brought up on. Um, but I was also in the band Hate Plow, and we did grindcore back in the day too. And I had that's where I wanted to go, because I've been asked over time to do death metal projects, and do vocals for this or do vocals for that, and the musicians were good. It's just not something really had my heart into. And when we discussed doing this, and I was like, I don't really want to do anything unless it's this certain style, which is the old style: Brutal Truth, Extreme Conditions, Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption, Utopia Banished, Terrorizer, World Downfall. If it's not anything around that, I'm really not interested. And he felt the same, and he started writing songs, and I was like, man, these are some really catchy songs. Gus is known for his drumming, whether it be in Left to Die or Gruesome. When he was a Malevolent Creation, when he was in the band Sickness with myself. Um, but he is a great songwriter. In fact, I think that sometimes his songwriting is even better than his drumming, and he's a really good drummer. But he can really write some great catchy tunes. He did it with his other band that he did called Create a Kill. He wrote some really great songs on that. And but I was so happy when I started hearing what he had written, and so was Dirk, because we were the three main ones writing, getting together online, talking about the songs and everything else. And that's what we want to continue to do. We want to continue that old style of grindcore, because, again, maybe there are other bands out there doing it, and um, Secrecy from Sweden. Sweden, yeah, that's right, Sweden. They are doing it, and in fact, when we released our record, Peace Through Tyranny, they released a record either right before ours or right after ours called Salvation Through Tyranny, and I was like, son of a bitch. Our titles are so alike. And then I listened to the record. I'm like, damn, they had the same idea. They're doing the same thing. They have a love for that old style of grindcore. And we actually got in touch with them on social media. And I started talking with them. And I was like, man, I really love your record. I was like, this is what's missing in grindcore, in my opinion, at least. And he was like, and they felt the same way about ours. And so that's the style we're going to keep, at least for the time being, because we're having a lot of fun with it. And that's the main thing that you got to do in music, is to enjoy it. If it starts turning into a job, I have a job. I don't want another job. I want, music is my outlet to have fun, also to be expressive and everything else. And I think we're doing that with Kill Division.
Okay, excellent. Um, Let me show your social media. In this case, we are showing the Bandcamp of Kill Division. There are two releases, Souls and Prayers, CP, and Peace Through Tyranny, 2023 and 2024. It's okay?
Yes, I can see it right there.
Okay. It's okay. The last release is Peace Through Tyranny, and the cover art is so special in both cases. Who is the designer of the cover art?
Oh man, you know what? That's a good question. And I'll tell you why. When we were looking for cover art, we were talking with Jeremy, the bass player, and he was like, I got this guy, but he's kind of like, I won't say a recluse, but he doesn't go out there, and he's not like a person that's out there selling his art everywhere else. I was like, okay, all right, whatever, see what he comes up with. And he came up with a certain design, and it it had like, it actually almost looked like your background a little bit. Like, you had the destruction in the background, but it had like some new elements to it. And and at first we were like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But then I was like thinking, this isn't this isn't old school. It's not old school enough. It's too, like, it's incorporating new elements. And I was like, I just don't have that feel to it. I was like, if we're gonna do something new with our music, why don't we just have the issues that are going on? Because there's always newer issues every year. If you look at our front cover, there's always issue. There's no there there's no less of anything going on in the world today. You don't have to go back, oh, I'm going to sing about something that happened in 1965 or 1970 or 1975. Shit happens every day, whether it be in this country or all over the world. So we picked out things that were very newsworthy, I guess, or very big in our media at the time. And we told the artist, who I don't have his name. I wish I could tell you. And because we were looking for him for the Thoughts and Prayers EP, and I believe the record label came up with that one. Now, who the name of the person, I don't know, because Gus primarily deals with um, redefining darkness, and his name is Tommy, and he deals with them mostly. I don't deal with that. And but I wish I could tell you, because that's the person who did the first cover. I would want him to do any other cover we did in the future, because he basically got our idea. I was like, we want something that has today's topics, but if today's topics on a 1990 record cover. And that's what he made up. Well, that's the one that the label made up. That's the Thoughts and Prayers EP right there, which is good too. That's a very good one. Um, and again, I don't know the artist, because it was just it just came through my emails. Like, that's great. And I believe it's somebody that works at Redefining Darkness Records. But the one through Peace Through Tyranny, um, I can't. I love that album cover, and I'll tell you a good story about it, because just like just like trend jumping with I have a record player now. So sometimes when I'm sitting in the living room, I'm listening to my records. And one day I was listening to From Enslavement to Obliteration. And my wife, she tells me, "You're going to be so upset." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "The record you're listening to right now, that cover looks exactly like your album, Peace Through Tyranny." And I was like, "Oh man, that's great." And I was like, because that's what we were aiming for. We were aiming for something that looks like it came out 30 years, 35 years ago now, yeah, 35 years ago with From Enslavement, 35, 36 years ago. But it had the uh news stories that were happening, racism and COVID and all the shit that was going on during around that time. And I was just like, and she's not a fan of napalm death from enslavement. She likes the heavier music, but she doesn't like, she's not sitting there talking to me about terrorizer and napalm death. But she understood and she knew that it looked exactly like it. And I was so thrilled. I was like, that's what we were going for. And thankfully that happened. And I'm so, again, if this artist comes out of his shell, and because I kept writing to him, please do our next record, please. And I never got any responses back. I even wrote to him in PayPal when we gave him money for that cover. I wrote to him, and the only way you could write to him, I think, was like to send like, $1 or
All hail Megatron!
and the only way you could write to him, I think, was like to send like, $1 or send anything above 99 cents. And I did. I sent him $1 just so I could put a message in there saying, please, for our, please do our next record cover. This is the only contact I have for you. And I never heard back from him. So it's unfortunate, but there you go.
This cover art is so it's a great cover art. It's like and go with the evolution of the band. I think that and I saw in this cover art expression of essential of grindcore. I love this cover art, and there are a lot of problems that your country, in this case, United States, have every date and every year.
Oh yes. If we took that cover and basically we could take out the pictures of the things going on around and replace them with what happened in like see right now we don't have any there was not any pictures of any school shootings. Hell, look at how many have happened since we released this record. I think we've had like 2 or 3 school shootings in the last month. You can't keep up with it. We're so desensitized as a nation that, um, like when Columbine happened in 1999, it's it affected people. It affected people because nobody ever heard of kids going into school with automatic weapons and killing other kids. Nowadays, if somebody walks into a school, which it just happened in Florida, in Florida State University, a college about 6 hours north of us, and I believe he killed maybe 3 people, injured more, but killed 3 people. You don't hear about it anymore. It's like it's forgotten about because it was only 3 people dead. That that's crazy to me. Somebody walks into a school, any elementary, middle, high school, college, and kills kids, and it's a story that lasts maybe a week. And this is our own state, and it's already gone. So I'm pretty sure any other states that are away from us, they might have reported at the beginning, but they've forgotten about it too. And we're just as a nation, we just it hit it. We say it affects us, then a week later it doesn't. And you could put that in there. You could take out a picture of you could take out any of those pictures and put like pictures from this year's round of violence and bullshit that happens. We could do it for every record, but we don't want to keep using the same album cover over and over. But it wouldn't be hard because that cover right there is just that explains the time period so well of what was going on in the United States when we were writing this record. And again, I know I hear you say how much you love the cover, and I do too. And damn it, if I could get that guy to come out of his hole and do the new record cover, I would love to see what he would come up with. But um, until he does, until he responds back to my dollar question that I sent through PayPal, I I can't I can't even give him his props. I don't have his real name. I think it was a screen name, his PayPal name or username. So I don't even have his real name. So
Yes, yes. And you released that those two albums with your without a label.
well, no, the label for Kill Division is Redefining Darkness Records.
Ah, okay.
That's the label because you know we it's hard. w- we showed the record around a little bit, but unfortunately with records, if you're not out there on the road touring for it constantly, a lot of labels, even though the record is good, which I think our record is good, um if you're not going to go out there and tour constantly for it, they really don't want to deal with putting it out. They consider it a lost cause, and I can understand that. Gus has, with Dirk, he's got Megadeth. So most of the year he is tied up within that band. We're not going to tell him to go, hey, stop making your rent money and your living with Megadeth that come out and tour on the road with a grindcore band for 6 weeks, so you can make pretty much next to peanuts and not pay your bills. Gus is the same way. He's got Gruesome, he's got Left to Die. um he makes a good living doing his music down here, and I have a full-time job, so it was hard to convince a label to say, hey, sign this and it'll sell. Can you do any touring? No. So it was very hard to sell. But with Redefining Darkness, he was a big fan of Gus and our first band, Sickness, and he was really impressed with it, and he wanted to put it out. So he put out Peace Through Tyranny, and the covers that are on the Thoughts and Prayers EP. We wanted to do that with Peace Through Tyranny, but there was some legal issues that at the time we couldn't release those songs. And uh, uh by the time we figured it out, we were like, well, let's just do an EP. It's like a 10-minute EP. That's why it's $5. And it's because it's only 10 minutes long. There's 3 covers and 1 new original song that we recorded afterwards. But those cover songs were recorded during the Peace Through Tyranny sessions. And you know there's we want, would we like a larger label to look at us and put it out? Of course, but we also are, we understand what's that, they want to make, labels aren't into putting out music to lose money. And if we can't go out there and tour for half the year for a certain record or any time like that, they you know they might look elsewhere. And that's what they did. So we put it out to Redefining Darkness. And for the new record, we're still in the middle of making it, but it's not dependent on a label right now because it's pretty much, it's mostly been recorded already. And the only thing it's missing is me right now. So I'm still in the middle of writing lyrics for the new record.
Okay. Let me play a game, please, with you.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to stop the sharing. Okay. Do you see my background picture?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, let's think about it. You wake up and go out your home and see this picture. A text message was sent in your cell phone, and it say, you have only 5 minutes to go to a bunker, and you think you have only 3 albums you want to carry in the bunker.
Just 3? Ah, shit.
Only 3.
Wow.
No compilation, please.
Oh my goodness. And it could be any different, any musical style?
Yes, it's a personal decision.
Oh my God. How long are you gonna stay in this bunker with just 3 records? That's kind of bullshit, man.
For the rest of your life.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm almost 50 now, so that's not that many years, but it's still, I still should live another 20, 25, hopefully, if I'm lucky. Let me see, 3 records.
Yeah.
So I'm going, you know what? I'm going through it in my head right now. And because there are records that are my favorite, but I've listened to them so much that I'm like, you know what, I've heard it enough. Even though it's my favorite, I've heard it enough where I wouldn't you know have to take that to my bunker. Hmm, okay. All right, well,
Only take it.
what I know, I think I think I would do one extreme band, and that would be Terrorizer's World Downfall, because that to me is a perfect record for extreme music. I can listen to that all the time, and I'll never be sick of it. Um, it's 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 not something where sometimes you get into and I'm sorry about the car thing. It's after a while it shuts off. Um, um, sometimes I get in moods. Like I was just telling you about Napalm Death, and a couple days ago I was really fucking pissed off at something, and I put on the Peel sessions from Napalm Death, and that.
Okay, my friend, you told me your first selection or choosing. Um, what or which one is the two left?
Oof, man,
The
you know
second.
what? It's there are so many good records out there, but I have to go with. You can't give me four. because I'm at 4. I can't. Come on, man. I, I'm gonna say my 4th one anyway. What are you gonna do? Shut down the interview? All right.
The
So
question is
I
too
already
difficult. You have to choose.
look. I think I can sneak in a 4th one in my bunker. It's not like they're like huge or anything. It's a little small piece of wax. But let's say I already told you terrorize a world downfall. So I want to go with that'll cover my extreme music. So then I have to go with some heavy metal, which would be Black Sabbath Sabotage. And I would go with rock and roll. I'm a big fan of The Doors, and I love the album LA Woman. So since you said I can't have my 4th, but I'm still gonna do it anyway, it's Faith No More's Angel Dust. I'm sneaking that one in. So, because I would want to cover all my bases. I'm a big fan of rock. It's not the only style of music I
The
like.
real
I
thing?
like. I'm sorry.
The real thing?
No, Angel Dust.
Angel Dust.
The one right. Yeah, the one right after the real. Even though my wife's is favorite is the real thing. She loves that record, but for me, it's Angel Dust. When you can remember it when you or someone but and it was my mom who actually bought that record for me when I was 15. If
Wow.
that album if that album is so good that you can remember when she bought it, and it sticks in your head because that album is so good, then that's one of my favorite records. You can remember, and Terrorizer wasn't. When I first got Terrorizer, the thing that was off-putting about it to me was the vocals. And but now I love them because they fit that record. When I got Terrorizer, I was comparing it to Napalm Death and I was comparing it to Barney. You don't sound like Barney, you suck. And that was me being an asshole. Because I was just like I was discrediting so many, like, if everybody sounded like Barney, that would even be worse, even though I love that style of music. But it just, I it took me a little bit of growing up in my music to realize that not everybody can sound like, needs to sound like Barney or needs to sound like a certain style. I was just like, man, this guy's patterns are awesome. Like he was so, Oscar's vocals just fit that record so damn well. I couldn't hear it with anybody else nowadays, but when it came out, I was just like, man, this guy doesn't sound like Barney, or this guy's not growling, or, like, have that Cam Lee Barney growl to it. And, but for my 3 to 4 records, Terrorizer. I need something to cover the bases. If since you're only giving me 3 and I'm sneaking in the 4th one, I could tell you like I'm not even covering my bases with doom metal. My Dying Bride. I would have to sneak in Turn Loose the Swans or Force the Equilibrium by Cathedral, or there's so many more records. And what I would do is I would sneak in my damn iPhone. When we're going in my bunker, my iPhone has all my music in there. So I don't even need records. I would just take my phone. I'd be like, "Oh no, you can keep the records as long, yeah, I just need a charger to make sure, you can't call anybody during an apocalypse, but I could put in my earpiece and listen to music. So, and then I have all my music. I don't have to make bad choices like this, because if you're living in a bunker for at least the next year or so with your family, the people you love, it's going to be hard enough as it is already. So having just 3 records is even more difficult.
It's hard to decide, yes.
I mean, we're already going to be like peeing into a bucket or or whatever else. I mean, and eating like food that expires in 30 years. So, all those rations, those don't taste good. So, I mean, you're already suffering. So at least let me have my music. So,
Okay, my friend. Your last words, please.
well, I hope that people give us you know, a, a listen, even though things are more easier. When I was doing the band things years ago, when you had to get your music out, you did it by fanzines, you did it by writing, sending out tapes. You didn't just like send a YouTube link. The interview we're doing today, we're doing it over Zoom. You're in Peru, I'm in South Florida. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean that's great, man. And but back in the day, we would have to do it by phone. One of us would be paying for it. It would be expensive. Nowadays, we're doing it just like there's so many levels of communication here, and but it's still hard to get out this type of music because I still see comments on our YouTubes and Instagram pages. Oh, I just heard about you guys, and you know, um, I didn't know you were, when they speak about myself, they'll say, I didn't realize you came back into music. I know you'd been out of it for a while, and I try to, I want to get it out there because I think what me and Gus are doing in Kill Division is I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of the way it sounds, what we talk about. I'm just proud of the whole band in general. And um, I want more people to hear it, and fans of our older stuff. When we were Malevolent, when I was in Hate Plow, I think people would definitely get into it, uh, being a fan of Hate Plow because that was more towards grindcore. And Peace Through Tyranny has been out for a couple years now, and we're still getting new fans about it. So I want to get out there. I want people to know that, not only do we have that, but we're working on a new record. We have 12 to 13 new songs ready to um, be on our next record. So I'm looking forward to getting that out there. And, just check us out if you're a fan of, again, of that 90s, late 80s, early 90s style of grindcore. If you have Harmony Corruption in your record collection, if you have Brutal Truth, Extreme Conditions, if you have if you have any of those records in your collection and you like them, give us a spin. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yes, a good recommendation. Thank you. Don't forget, we are expecting about a new release from Kill Division and new concert maybe when you participate. I don't know. Excuse me, my dog. And
That's all right. Let him on in. It's okay. I love dogs, man. So, hey, maybe he's a fan.
and don't forget to give us the news from Kill Division, please. We are expecting about it, and I hope you release your new tracks, and maybe if you will have a promo video, please send me to share in this program, please.
Well, anybody that the pages we have out now on Instagram, I think it's Kill Division Grind. On Facebook, it's just Kill Division. Um, I also have my own page on Facebook, Kyle Simon's vocalist. If you do searches for any of that, once we start getting everything a little bit more finalized and I'm back in the studio with Gus, working on the songs for the new record, um, we will definitely keep everything updated on there. So just for right now, um, in fact, when you were getting the new link for this interview, I was on Facebook and I saw him. He just played the Milwaukee Metal Fest with the band Left to Die last night, and apparently his flight is delayed because the title of his post was "Fuck American Airlines." So I'm guessing he's been delayed to come home. So so he right now he's in the middle of traveling, but we always try to keep updates, especially when it comes to Kill Division when we got something going on. Um, right now the songs are written, they're recorded. It's me, and I've had a lot of things been going on this last year, um, that's kind of kept me from focusing on working on the lyrics. And I'm hoping now, with everything settling down, I could get back to it. I attend school. I'm still, I got a full-time job. I attend school. Somebody just crashed into my car. That's why I have this new car that I don't even know how to work yet, because it just happened about a week and a half ago. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not going to bore people on my social media accounts about my damn car accident. I'll tell you about bands and, the updates, especially with Kill Division, and if anything else is going on and what's coming up next for sure.
Okay, my friend. Thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed this interview.
I did, and one question, and one thing I do have to say is, and you said you're in Peru, correct?
Yes, in the north of Peru.
Yeah. See, I've never, when I was in Malevolent Creation, that's when I did most of my traveling and touring. And I
Oh,
believe we were supposed to come to Peru, but the
wow.
scheduling, we never made it down there because this person who did the scheduling, there was cancellations. So we only played in Brazil. And it was supposed to be a whole tour of that, to the, we were supposed to go to Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Peru, Chile.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed
Argentina,
that
Uruguay.
yeah, I never made it to any of those countries, and I'm so disappointed because when I see my friends travel down there, and it's just the love and passion that people down there have for death metal and grindcore and everything. I see these concerts. It number one, it pisses me off that I never got to see it live myself, except in Brazil. And
Yes.
I hope one day that, Kill Division has enough of a following that we can do um, some traveling, some touring, and everything else. And maybe one day it will happen. We'll just have to see that. But I just want to say to anybody that's been following Kill Division or the bands I was previously in down there, I just wanted to say thank you for your support. And, I hope if you haven't checked out Kill Division yet, please give it a try. I think you guys will like it. And thank you again for this interview.
Okay, I hope your next South American tour, please, with Kill Division.
Well, all right. Well, you know what? Get your friends down there to start, yelling for it. So hopefully, if people request it enough, that's how it gets done. That's the one thing I've learned still. If people want us there, talk to your promoters and
Yes.
talk to us, and that's the thing. People aren't going to bring a band down there that they're going to lose money on. I'm sure it costs a lot of money to fly 4 to 5 guys thousands of miles to play one show. So, if there's a way to do it, I hope it can be done.
Okay, my friend. See you again, and thank you again, and I want to say you goodbye.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. You have a good morning and afternoon, and we'll be in touch sometime soon. All right.
Okay, my friend. Goodbye.
All right. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's about fucking been in the herd. We almost lost one of our fucking members here. He almost got thinned out. I almost got thinned out. Let me tell you something about it. This is thank you.
Metal Tallan.